Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We are going to start today our first class of application. We are going to start by applying Oedipus theory, right? Oedipus Rex on Aristotle's theory. I asked you last time to make some sharings and presentations, if any, and I hope that our class for today is going to be much more interactive than other classes. So we are going to start the class with the sharing of the three sisters who are going to give us an idea about, right, Oedipus King. You go ahead.
Thank you, Ahmed. So hello everybody, I hope all of you will be fine. Today, inshallah, we are going to present you a short dialogue between the teacher and the student.
Okay, good morning everyone. I'm Plato. I founded the academy and it's the first of its kind. I have studied under many great philosophers.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Aristotle. I'm a student at Plato. I'm here today to discuss my point of view on some issues. So, okay, my professor, I wonder if I could have a moment of your time.
Of course, sure.
Okay. Let me get this straight. Why do you reject Republic poets?
Well, I rejected them for several reasons. The first one is mimesis. I'll give you an example. Now, for example, a carpenter wants to make a bed. Okay, he will make a bed, and then the painter will come and he wants to imitate the existing bed. And now the existing bed is already an imitation, so the painter is going to imitate the imitation, so he's going to make mimesis. And by that, he will mislead people from their main purpose of existence, which is to seek the real. Now people will seek mimesis, the imitation of imitation. So that's why they are twice removed from the Republic.
Okay, my professor, I partly agree with you. Okay, art is an imitation of life. And I believe that artist or poet finds a natural pleasure in imitating. But I believe that imitation isn't the exact reproduction of reality, which is the existing world. I mean that all imitation is not the same. I mean it is the selective representation of reality, and every artist and poet has its own creativity. He or she can recreate a world which has its own meaning and dignity.
Okay, now let me tell you the second reason, which is inspiration. Now, inspiration means the power that compels the power to write at a certain moment. Now, poets can't write unless they are inspired. And when they are inspired, they are out of their senses. They are irrational, dominated by emotions. And as a philosopher, I don't believe in such emotional products, which is the poetry.
Oh, I don't see it that way. I mean that poetry has cathartic effects. Now to purify people from the excessive emotions of pity and fear. And that leads them to be, to be like purified from the emotional tension, which is pity and fear. And it gives them a pure state of mind, and it emerges them to be better than they were.
Okay, in addition to inspiration, I have the moral reason. Now, the topics of tragedy don't promote morality, and people are supposed to be moral, and it will make them immoral, not moral.
Oh, okay, I know where you come from, my professor. But I can say that art doesn't teach morality, okay? Its function, it's not to teach morality, its function to represent life. It can express emotions and communicate experiences. Okay, morality teaches, but art doesn't even attempt to teach. Okay, if my art has any evidence of teaching, okay, you can take it, but it's not my business.
Well, everyone has his own point of view, and I respect your point of view, my dear student.
Okay, I respect your point of view, my professor. And as Mahatma Gandhi said, that honest disagreement is a sign of progress.
All right, thank you very much. This is really good.
So according to Shaima and Afnan, I say I'm going to make a summary about the differences between Plato and Aristotle. So first, as you say that Plato is concentrating on the world of real. So now and then and there and non-existing. But to Aristotle, he said that he is concentrating about the world of imitation. So now and here and existing. Also, reality is perfect in Plato, but to Aristotle, reality is not perfect, or reality is imperfect. So Plato played the rules to the real in the Republic, but Aristotle, he studied the existing of literature in his time. Also, Plato, his book is called about Republic, but Aristotle, his book is talked about politics. So according to Plato, he said that poetry must not be imitation, but poetry must be creative to seek the real worth. Also, poetry must not generate the feeling of pity and fear. But when we are going to Aristotle, his book Poetics is talk about 3 divisions. The first division is introduction about imitation, and the second he talks about tragedy, and the third he is talking about epics and philosophers. When we are going to the statement that we are going to say that all art based on imitation, according to to Aristotle, he's totally agreed. He's not totally agreed with his teacher, but he said that if the poetry are the same in the manner, they are not the same in the object, and they are not the same in the medium. So that's all we are going to present, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Right, is there anyone who would like to participate in relevance to the topic that we are discussing today? The only 3 people participating in this class are still the same? Yes?
I prepared something about Aristotle, but if there's no time.
Oh, it's okay. Come, please.
So I know we took theories of Plato and Aristotle, but I thought it would be interesting if we found more about Aristotle himself and how he developed his theories. First of all, he was a student of Plato between the ages of 17 and 37. And during the life of Plato, he didn't really sway away from Plato's thoughts. Only after his death did he sway away from Platonism and started adapting empiricism, which means that you cannot gain knowledge without experience. And because Aristotle actually taught Alexander the Great, who was the king of ancient Greece, he supplied him with abundance of supplies and established many other students, like libraries and so on. I think it's also worth mentioning that Arab and Muslim philosophers found Aristotle really impressive, and they translated a lot of his works from Greek to Arabic, and also called him the first teacher, which is a name that Western later on took. And also Muslim philosophers also considered Aristotle to be a philosopher that says undeniable truth, though they saw him as something really great. And now, after more than 2,000 years after Aristotle's death, he is still considered the most influential person who ever lived, even though he made a lot of errors and mistakes that a lot of people consider that held back science considerably, but also he's human and he makes mistakes. But his achievements are still to live today and be praised.
Thank you. Excellent. I really like it. Well, right. After your sharings, I have to say that our class today is going to be a kind of introduction to Oedipus, right? I expected that more students are going to participate in the class, but it seems that the usual number is still the same. I'm passing the attendance sheet. Make sure that you find your name there and you take it as attending person. And this is going to happen from now on every class. Right. Our class for today is going to introduce us, as I said, to Oedipus. And Oedipus, I have to bring your attention to one important thing. We have a story which happened before, right, the play, and we have what happens in the play, which is the last 24 hours. According to Aristotle, if you still remember, that the time of performance should not suppose to exceed 24 hours. 24 hours, right? So we said that the time of performance, which is the play itself, right, the time is 24 hours. But we still have another story that happened before, right, what, the 24 hours. What I'm going to introduce today, I'm going to start with what happened before what, right, the story, or, right, sorry, the play. Why? Because to give you an idea, right, how the story is right started and how it is going to end. By the way, how do we know this story? As I said, from the dialogue between the characters and from the chorus, right? So what we are going to start with, we shall start with this, right? The pre-Oedipus story. And what do we mean here by the pre-Oedipus? Right? What happened before the play? Here, Oedipus, the play. To, right, be like what we call it, the major, right, guiding line for what we are going to go through in the following two classes. All the knowledge that a student needs to know before reading, right, about Oedipus, right? In other words, that we would like to give you this, right, knowledge before, right, the reading Oedipus, right? But this is not a direct quotation from Oedipus, by the way. I mean, right? This is all what you need to know about Oedipus. So what happened? All it began in Greece, in a city called Thebes. What happens in Thebes? Right? We have a king called King Laos and the Queen Jocasta. Right? They were waiting for a baby to come, expecting their first child. Then, of course, because these people, they had a kind of a superstitious thinking, they usually check what the future of the child will be. So they usually go to soothsayers, to fortune tellers, to tell them how the child is going to be, right? But the fortune teller, right, gave them a kind of a disturbing prophecy. What is that prophecy? That their son would kill his father and marry his mother. Just imagine that you put yourself in this situation, right? Just imagine. What would you do? Right? You went to a fortune teller, right? Or someone came by chance and told you that, right, your child is going to kill his father and marry his mother. What would you do? You will kill the fortune teller, huh? Okay. So you are a murderer in any case, okay? It means that you believed, right, what the fortune teller. Anyone else? What would you do? Yeah. Right. But you will keep that in your mind, right? You will always be thinking about it more and more.
Of course, I'm not going to believe.
You are not going to believe what he's saying. Yes.
If I have a superstitious thinking, I believe, I take it into consideration.
All right. So, what are you going to do? You don't know. Yes, please.
It's not what I would do, but I guess maybe the parents would banish the child.
No. Put yourself in the position of that woman, for example.
Probably not care about what she said, but maybe another action would be banishing the child.
Right. Yeah. Yes, please.
I would kill him for his
Kill him refers to whom? To whom? Refers to whom? The child. Right. So I don't blame Jocasta then. I don't blame King Oedipus, right? But in such a case, would you kill your own child by your own self? How do you know that this is, going to be? Yeah, please.
I'm trying my best to raise a good child.
Right. Okay, excellent. Very good one. So you are not going to what? To abandon the child.
I'm not going to kill anyone. I'm not going to offend anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just trying
I don't
my
like
best
the
to
word
raise
kill, you know. This is a very,
hard word.
right, a very, very hard word, right? We are not supposed to think in such a manner at all. Or otherwise we are not going to be sound people. Yes?
At first, I'm not going to believe the prophecy.
Right.
But after it came, maybe I would be more careful.
Careful to raise him up well.
Yes.
So as to not to kill his own father Because we usually say that a human being is the product of his own environment, of his own family. The way that you are raising him up, the way that you are raising him up. So if you are going to raise a good child, most probably he's not going to do evil things, right? In a good environment, right? According to good morals, right? On honesty. So what compels him to do such an evil thing, you know? And therefore, right, if I were in the position of right, King Laos, what's going to happen? Right, I would not believe him, right, in any case. And this is not going to give me any thinking to make any harm to my own little child. Can you imagine? This little beautiful child, right, is being abandoned, right, and thrown away because of some stupid fortune teller said something that we don't know whether it is right, correct or not. Right? ما لكم كيف تحكمون. Right? Sorry?
How can his mother marry?
This is the question. This is why we start blaming them. So we say that the original sin, it is not the sin of Oedipus. It is the original sin of whom? Of the father and the mother, because they believed the prophecy. Because they believed the prophecy. If they did not believe the prophecy and they kept the child, nothing would have happened. Nothing would have happened. So the mistake, the original mistake, is the mistake of the two parents, because they abandoned their own child. If they did not abandon their child, nothing would have happened. Nothing would have happened. Yes.
So we can say that what they did actually affected his character and made some kind of a psychological mistake.
Right. We will see that. Not a psychological mistake. Right. We will see how things they will develop. We see that the mother here and the father. Oops. What is this? Right. What he is supposed to do. Right. That in such a case. Right. He is faced, by a bad situation. So both of them, they decided to kill their new little baby. And look at the word capitalized. Killing. They are murderers. They are murderers. Anyone who thinks to murder his own child is not really a sound person.
He's a criminal.
Yeah. Right. And therefore, what happened? They pierced their son's ankles, his own feet, together. Right? With what? With a chain, an iron chain. And they put a chain, right? And they gave him to a shepherd in order to kill what? To kill the child.
They didn't have a hurt.
They are heartless.
Yes.
Right? Piercing. Do you know what I mean? Piercing? Yeah.
Want to imagine, please.
Right? Piercing the ankles, putting a chain, right? In order to what? To make sure that he's not going to what? Right. The shepherd is much more merciful than the two parents. He couldn't do it. Right? So the shepherd doesn't like the situation at all. He cannot kill the baby either. So what did he do? He said he would die alone. So he left him what? Right? Gave the baby to another shepherd, right? In order to what? Right, to get rid of him. Right? Does it remind you of something? It reminds you of the story of the prophet Joseph, right? Okay? It is similar to that, right? And what happened? This shepherd lives in another city. It is called the city of Corinth. The city of Corinth, which is shepherd number 2. Gave the baby to the king of Oedipus and the queen Merope. Why? Because they don't bring children. So he gave, right, Oedipus as a gift. To whom? To King Oedipus and Queen Merope of Corinth, right? Who haven't been able to have their own children, right? And then they raised Oedipus as if he is their own child. But they also committed a mistake.
Yeah, they were killing
Right? They never told him that he is in fact an adopted child. But they told him that he is a biological child. A biological child. In other words, that his biological father, as known by Oedipus himself, is King what? Oedipus. And his biological mother is his Queen Merope. Queen Merope. Okay? Fine. So we know that this is not true. But they are the foster fathers. They are the foster family. But the biological family, it is the family, the one in what? One day, after he grew older and he became a young man, and he went to a party, and in that party, people gossip. What does that mean, people gossip? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I mean that the whole city, they know that he is not the biological son of both Merope and he's adopted. The only one who doesn't know is Oedipus himself. As Oedipus himself. Right. So in this, right, while they are talking, and I mean in the party, in this party, right, one got drunk and he told Oedipus that he is not, right, the biological son of Oedipus and Merope, and they were not his own parents. Right? So he didn't, pay much attention to what is being said. But he wanted to make sure, because, right, this statement is going to make him think more, right, about who his own parents are. But all what he believed in, that he is the biological son of both. But in order to make sure, right, he goes and confronts Oedipus and Merope and tells them, right, who is am I your own son? And they said yes, right? And when he told them that, told both of them that I was told that I am not your own son, they denied the whole thing. And this is another mistake. Whose mistakes? Right? The mistakes of the parents so far. And depending on the mistakes of the fathers, right, we are going to have, right, more related mistakes. More related mistakes. So, to make sure, right, he wanted to go to the Oracle of Delphi. Oracle of Delphi is the biggest, right, fortune teller. His name is Tiresias. His name is Tiresias. Tiresias is the one who told King Laus that your child is going to kill his father and marry his mother. Right? He is the same person. The same person. Right? With Jishum. And therefore, he went to Oracle, right, to tell him, right, whether Merope and Oedipus are his own children, parents or not. This is what he's going for, right? And he hoped for a straight answer. He decided to go to the oracle to ask about his own parents, hoping that, right, to tell him, yes, they are, or no, they are not. But as you know, these people are experts in what? Right? In being cunning. All right? They will never give you what? A straight answer. Right? And of course, the oracle is not really a good straight answer. What did he see? Oedipus asks the oracle if Oedipus and Merope are his own real parents. Right? The oracle answers him by giving him another prophecy. What is that? You will kill your father and beget children by your own mother. Right? Well, to the understanding of Oedipus, who his father is? Oedipus. And who his mother is? Merope. So this is the only two, right, parents that he knows. Right? So what came to his mind that he is going to kill Oedipus and, right, marry his mother Merope and will have the children from her. Will have children from her. But he is a good person. He is. I'm reminding you that he is a good person. Right? And because being good, he doesn't want to kill his father and to marry. What to do? All right. Another question. What to do? Right? He is going to escape. He is going to go west. To go west. Right? Go where? Oedipus decides that he cannot go back home, which is Corinth. To him, home is Corinth. Otherwise, he might kill his father Oedipus and marry his mother Merope. Right? This shows us that he is a good character. A good character. But as readers, we understand that his father is not Oedipus. Right. What happens? I'm trying to put it in other words. The first parents, they wanted to escape from the destiny of their own child. So they abandoned their own child. And now Oedipus himself is doing the same. What is he doing? He tries to escape from his own evil destiny. By the way, this is not a destiny done by a good father, a good God, but it is an evil destiny, right? Done by an evil God, right? So he tries to escape from his own destiny to meet his own destiny, right? This is exactly what happens, right? We know that he is not, right? So Oedipus and Merope are not his own real parents. We know this, right? And therefore he couldn't go back to Corinth if he wanted to. He could, why? Because they are not his own parents. The worst way that could head towards Thebes, to escape to Thebes, this is the worst thing that can happen. And this is exactly what happened. Therefore, he heads towards Thebes. So he's escaping from his own what? Destiny to meet his own destiny. Right? Right. So do you consider this his own mistake?
No.
Whose mistake is this?
The first parents.
And?
The real parents.
Right? Some other people, they will say this is the mistake of the gods. The mistake of the gods. The Greeks believed this. Right? That, and therefore, gods were portrayed as being evil gods. Right? And this is what Plato doesn't agree with. And therefore, this is he, right? Abandoned them from the Republic. Right? Well, okay. So, at the same time, we go back to Thebes. Right? At Thebes, there was a curse. It is called the curse of the Sphinx. This is the Sphinx. Right? And people were living in a bad situation. Now we are moving from the story of Oedipus till he decides to leave to Thebes. We come to Thebes to tell you that Thebes was under the curse of the Sphinx. Right? And people were stagnant, people were living miserable life. The Sphinx itself said, I can remove the curse from the city on one condition, providing that I ask a riddle, and if anyone can answer this riddle correctly, I will remove what? The curse. Do you know what I mean of curse? If not, if he is not able to answer the what? Answer, right, the riddle correctly, he will die. He will die. But no one, right, was actually willing to put himself to this test. To this test, right? And therefore, what happened? That people went to King Laos, right? That to tell him what to do. So, in order to know what to do, he wants to go to whom?
The oracle.
Right? To the fortune teller. To ask the fortune teller what to do. The fortune teller was at that time working as Google. You know? Anything you can ask Google. Nah? Yeah, the Google of the time. So we have two people. King Laos, the biological father, heading towards Delphi, right? And the son, Oedipus, is coming back from Delphi, but he's not going to Corinth. He is running to whom? To Thebes. So both of them will meet where? On the road. On the road. So King Laos decided to travel to the Oracle of Delphi to seek the solution, and right at the crossroad exactly. Look at this. Here we have, right here, the Delphi, right? And here, what is this? Right, this is Thebes, and here is Corinth. Here is Corinth, right? Now, one is going from Thebes, right there, right? And one is coming from Thebes, right? And therefore they meet here. They meet here on this crossroad, where the three roads meet in the play, right? They meet where the three roads meet. Where are the three roads meeting? 1, 2, 3. Here, right? And you know, both of them, one is a king and one is a prince. And this one has a caravan, and this one has caravan and attendants, right? And who is going to pass first?
The king.
This is what you think. The prince thinks that he is a prince, and he doesn't know that the other man is a king, right? So what happens? They quarrel. They quarrel, right? Guess who meets? All right, they both of them, Oedipus and King Laos. Oedipus running from the oracle, all right, and Laos is running to it. It's running to it. The father and the son meet, but it is not actually a good meeting, right? Neither knows that they are a father and a son, right? They argue over who has the right of the way, right? زي سواقين غزة, right? Right? Laos strikes Oedipus, and Oedipus, yes, he's good, but he's a knight, you know, right? And he gets angry. Yes, angry. They fight, and Oedipus kills everyone. The king and everyone except one person who is going to run back. To run back to what? Run back to, yeah, there. Okay. And he goes to, so here we have what happened. The first prophecy is, the first part of the oracle's prophecy was fulfilled, which is that he's going to kill his own father. But does he know his own father? No. Whose mistake is this? Right, it is the parents. I'm blaming the parents. I'm not blaming, and I'm blaming also both the king and, right? لو واحد استنى 5 دقائق كان ايش صار يعني؟ مظبوط؟ Nothing, but because of pride. Because of what? Pride. كل مشاكل الدنيا يعني استنى لك دقيقتين تنفذ السيارة وتمشي. You understand what I mean? Right? But both of them, they are full of what? Of pride. And this is what? This is a tragic flow that will lead to destruction. Something else, another tragic flow which is more serious than that. What is that? It is ignorance. Ignorance is a tragic flow. Who is ignorant? Both of them. Ignorance of what? Of truth. Of truth. The son doesn't know his own father, and the father doesn't know his own son. So ignorance is also fatal. This is a tragic flow, right? Moreover, right, what I would say, the superstitious thinking of both is also a kind of what? A tragic flow. Both of them, they believe in what?
Prophecy.
Right? In the prophecy, the superstitious thinking, as I told you. Both of them, this is a tragic flow. Moreover, both of them, they try to escape from their own destiny. They never accepted that. If they accepted their own destiny and they went back home, nothing would have happened. Right? If the parents, the original parents, right, King Laos and Queen Jocasta accepted their own fate, nothing would have happened. They would have never, abandoned their own child, and he would never kill his own parents and his father and marry his own mother. Right? So we have many things to say, right, regarding the mistake. Whose mistake is that? Not only blaming the evil gods, but also blaming the human beings as well. You remember this when we come to analyze the dramatic action. right? That we have more than one tragic flow, right?
Yes.
Well, and after killing the king and everyone with the king, where does he go? He goes to,
Thebes.
right, to Thebes.
Thebes.
But Thebes is under
Curse.
a curse.
Yeah.
The curse, whose curse? The curse of the Sphinx,
Yeah.
of the Sphinx. And in order to remove, because he is really a good knight who is willing to help others, although he is not he is not part of that city, but he was willing to risk his own life to answer the riddle of whom?
The Sphinx.
Of the Sphinx. Do you understand what I mean? That, okay, Oedipus continues on Thebes and meets the Sphinx, which is still terrorizing the whole people. Here, this is the picture of meeting between the Sphinx and right, and Oedipus. Right? The Sphinx asks Oedipus the riddle. So now I am saying this situation, it shows us and reminds us that the hero is good. Why?
Because he tries to help.
Right? Because he is not part of the city. He's not part of the city. And he knows that if he makes a mistake in answering the riddle, what's going to happen to him? He's going to be killed. And therefore, he ventures his life. He risks his own life for the sake of others. Which shows that he is a good knight, a good knight, a good hero, right? So what was the, right? What goes on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the noon, and 3 legs in the evening? This is the riddle, right? Huh?
فزورة رمضان هاي ولا
Aywa. This is the riddle. Answer it.
Teacher,
Yes.
with the person.
What goes on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the noon, and 3 legs in the
The
evening?
person he walk for 4 legs.
This is the human being. This is the human being, right?
And
Why? Because when we are young, in the morning of our life, we crawl on 4.
Yeah.
Then we become walking on 2. And we will have a stack when we become old, so we will walk on 3.
3, yes.
Right? 3 legs. So it is very easy. It is a human being. And he said, okay, it is the human being. And his answer was, okay, and the curse was removed. Was?
Remove.
Right? وَكَفَى اللَّهُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ شَرَّ الْقِتَالِ. Right? But he wants to be rewarded. Sure. Right? After correctly answering the riddle and right, Thebes of right, reading the curse of the Sphinx, the people wanted to reward him. How? By making him a king. But you cannot be a king because we have a queen.
Yes. You have to marry the queen to be
Right?
king.
So the only way to become a king is to marry
Marry a king. And then he
a
married
queen. Right? Okay.
ما حدش عارف.
So people wanted to reward Oedipus by making him a king who mysteriously disappeared, their previous king. All right? The easiest way to accomplish this for him is to marry the queen, Jocasta, between his brackets, his own mother. Right? So we have the second part of the prophecy is fulfilled. وعاشوا في تبات ونبات وخلفوا صبيان وبنات. Right? Till he becomes 50 years old. Till he becomes 50 years old. Yeah, and he brings the children from what? Right? From his own mother. Right? What happens after that? We have, right? Yeah, as I told you, right? They get married, but they are not familiar. Oedipus and Jocasta marry and have 4 children, right? And 18 to 20 years after they get married, the play starts. The play begins. Our play begins 20 years after they got married. How does it start? What was the initiating action? What was the initiating action? Right? Where is the conflict? What was the other problems? Right? These questions, and what was the moment of inaugnosis? What was the climax? What was the peripetia? What was the catastrophe? Right? Where is necessity and the probability? Where are the 3 unities? These are the questions that I want you to think of for the next time. And I am saying, I told you last time, right, that I want you to participate. But this next time, inshallah, I am not going to make, screening, right? In other words, We are not going to make photocopy. Sorry, video for our own class. Why? Because I'm going to make it as a kind of question and answer, Q&A. So I will call on everyone, telling her, please answer. If you don't answer, right, I will put marks. I want people to participate. I want people. Don't tell me about the story. You have to tell me about what? The play. Right?
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Inshallah. Okay, and here we finish our class for today. Thank you very much.